Hi guys, welcome back to the Tegiwa YouTube channel. Today we are doing the ultimate intake test for the Civic FL5. As you can see, we've got our FL5 behind us. It's fresh from a service. We've got 8 different intakes that we're going to be testing today. We're joined by Matt Howard, aka Not Even That Fast. Would you like to introduce yourself, Matt?
Yeah, you might have seen some of the other tests we've done on my old GR Yaris. We did a similar test. We've got even more intakes this time. Yeah, so I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting because we've got a few different variants. We've got open cones, we've got enclosed cones, and I've even got one I've put down as semi-enclosed. So I don't know if that's a thing, I might have made that up. We're going to start with the OEM intake. So that will be our benchmark for today. Then we're going to drop in the K&N panel filter, because why not? Just to see if it just does make a difference or what that does. So prices start from £65 all the way up to £1,757. So there should be something in here for
everybody, yeah. Some of the ones you've got to pay to play, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how more budget options compare with the really expensive ones. But yeah, a little bit about the Civic. It's a completely stock car. The only modification that it does have on is a Miltech non-resonated system, and it's a full turbo back exhaust. Yeah, this is kind of a test. It's not got all the bells and whistles on. Pretty much you can buy the car from the showroom and then choose your intake. I
think the chances are if you fit in one of these, you'll have probably done something similar as well. So hopefully it's relevant to a lot of owners.
Yeah, and the other thing to mention, which we mentioned in the GR Yaris test, is it's not all about figures either.
No, I mean, this is how they're performing on the day. On the dyno, real world, with different intake flows and, you know, whatever else, it might be different. All we can do is compare it on what we have here, share all the figures with you.
I think we're probably the only company doing this. They're super popular. You guys love to see them. And like Matt says, it's not all about the figures. So you might be buying it for the noise. You might be buying it for the aesthetic under the bonnet, because you might like popping your hood and seeing a fancy carbon intake.
Yeah.
There's a number of factors. But yeah, we're going to start now with the OEM run, and then we'll start unboxing the intakes and taking a look at what's inside. So the car's now strapped to the dyno. We've got the stock box on. We're going to give it 3 runs, and this will basically be our benchmark for the day. We're going to do all the runs with the bonnets down, because that's what it'll be like on the road. So yeah, let's crack on with it. Excited to get it underway. So we just finished benchmarking the stock airbox. As we mentioned, the only modification on the car is a Miltech non-resonated system, so that's why the power is slightly higher than the factory quote of 327 horsepower. So it did in fact make 334.1 horsepower, so really healthy. We're now going to put the K&N drop-in filter on. We're not expecting any more power for this. If we do get any, it'll be a nice bonus, but it may be 1 or 2 absolute maximum. Right, so first up is the K&N panel filter. This retails at $64.99. It's available at Tegiwa.com. Yeah, it's in some nice packaging. Any thoughts, Matt, before we unbox it?
We all know what they are, don't we? We've all had them. They're a great option if you keep them with a standard airbox, because they're not much more than a new filter would be from Honda, and it's reusable, so it's a win-win.
Let's unbox it. I know exactly what I'm going to say. It's a panel filter.
Do we have any stickers? Surely we do.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so if you watch the GR Yaris intake test, then you know I'm a sucker for a sticker, and yeah, we got a sticker. Thanks, K&N. That's nice. We've got something about other products, and you can register your product at K&N. Yeah, it's a nice cotton. Is it cotton?
I'm not sure.
But they're washable, aren't they? You can buy a K&N
that's right.
cleaning kit. Yeah,
wash it, re-oil it.
That's K&N. We'll just drop that into the standard box and see if it does make any more power or any differences.
So there we go. Dave was just talking for the start of that, but you saw how fast it was. A couple of clips, lid comes off, standard air filter out, K&N in. Job done, so we'll fire it up, we'll go again. So you're aware we're doing all these tests with the bonnet shut, as it would be on the road. We've got 2 big fans blowing air straight to the front of the car. Again, it's not a real world scenario. It is a dyno cell, but it's going to be the same for all the airboxes.
So, interestingly, the K&N drop-in, which we've just dynoed, actually made less power than standard. So, it made 328.6 horsepower, which is quite a bit of a difference. So, it's like nearly 6 horsepower down. Interesting, that's why we do these tests, so we can see how they perform. But yeah, it was up 2 pound-foot of torque.
You know, one thing probably should have mentioned in the Aris test, we've got like test-to-test variation. That's only, what, a couple of percent down, 2 or 3%, so probably...
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, it's no, I would say probably it's just not really made that much of a difference. So.
You're not going to notice it on the road, are you? But yeah, the figures are the figures, and we can only report what we're finding out. So next up is our actual first intake system. So we've got the RamAir, 275 quid. It's an open cone. See how we get on. Right, so the first kit that we're actually going to be unboxing today is the RamAir Pro-Ram Induction Kit. This is available at Tegiwa.com, and it is the cheapest option that we're testing today. It retails at £275 at the time of filming. I'm going to let Matt do the honours with this one, with his super nice snap-on knife that's been lent to him by none other than Andrew Ford.
Yeah.
Nice set of instructions with FL5 on the front there.
Yeah.
Right, so it's out of the packaging, and as we can see, it's an open cone. It's got the nicely prepared heat shield that's going to go around it. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, it looks good. Everything's nicely powder coated. Looks like it's a nice durable finish. Got good quality air filter, and it looks like the heat shield is, you know, it's not just an afterthought. It's actually, if we look at where the standard one goes, it's quite a nice sort of similar shape to that. It's going to fill that void quite nicely and hopefully give you as much benefit as you can have.
And what's also good, that's not always included in even the more expensive kits, is a good set of instructions. So it's in colour as well, which is good. And thank you, RamAir. You're giving us stickers, which is also the bonus. And yeah, I can't believe that for a £45,000 car, this kit's 275 quid.
Yeah.
This day and age, that's really good value for money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're just after a bit of noise, this could well be the kit for you. So yeah, we'll get this on the car now and see what it's up to.
Right, that's the RamAir fitted. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The only thing is there's a bolt that I haven't been able to get in, the bottom of the heat shield, and if we look at the instructions, I guess they were writing instructions as they were developing it, because the heat shield is still one piece and, you know, unpainted. So I'm not sure if there's a spacer missing, but in fairness, obviously we are literally hot swapping these on the dyno between runs. We don't want to unstrap it, we want to keep it as fair and as consistent as possible. So there might be something I'm missing when I'm fitting these on the car, so maybe take that with a pinch of salt, but whatever, we'll feed it back to RamAir. You know, they can make a change if they think it's needed, so on to the test.
Okay, so we've just finished dynoing the RamAir filter, and first things first, it made more power, so that's good. Only a couple more horsepower and £5 foot more of torque, so Yeah, it was the cheapest one, but it is adding a little bit of something, so that's always good to see. For 275 quid, you're getting a better noise, not having a detrimental effect on the performance of your engine, so that's nice.
One thing we are noticing, temperature's starting to creep up in this dyno cell, so we're going to keep the fans on, try and keep it as low as we can, just so it's continuous, but we will make a note of that intake air temp. We are recording all of that. Add a bit of fudge factor almost for that, really, can't you?
Yeah.
You know.
So next up is the Pipercross. So Matt will whip this off, put the fans back on, try and keep the car cool while he's working. Get the Pipercross on now. So the next kit that we're going to be testing is the Pipercross induction system. Looking at the pictures on the internet between this and the RamAir one, they look quite similar, but there's a £50 increase in this. So this is 325. And there's a bold manufacturer claim on this one, Matt.
First one so far.
Pipercross reckon an extra 10 horsepower and 20 foot-pound of torque. Let's see. Let's unbox it first.
Yeah, see what makes it.
Okay, so just unboxed it, and what are you thinking to this, Matt?
Yeah, similar shape, heat shield design, slightly bigger. Filters obviously foam instead of the cotton on the one there. Looks good, Nick. We've got nice rubber edging all around here. I think that was included in the kit, on the RamAir kit as well.
We just have to install it, don't
yeah,
we?
just have to pop it on afterwards.
This is really nice. Not etched, is it? But it's like hollow Pipercross logo.
Yeah, like laser cutout, isn't it?
Set of nice instructions as well in colour.
Yeah.
Really nicely done. And I think there's a warranty thing here. So if you register with Pipercross, you can claim if anything goes wrong, but hopefully it doesn't.
No, I shouldn't have thought so.
But there are no stickers. So if you're watching Pipercross, we like stickers. But yeah, we'll put this one on the car now and see how that compares to the RamAir, whether it does live up to the manufacturer claim. So let's do that. So we just dynoed the Pipercross intake. As we can see, we got 334.7 with 325 pound-foot of torque. So it is down on the RamAir that we just tested. It's up by 0.7 from stock, but the intake temps are creeping up as we do the test. We're trying to make it as fair as possible. We started on 19 degrees when we did the stock run, so that was the coolest, but as the car's running, obviously the temps are creeping up slightly, so that's why these figures might not be as optimum as they could be, but obviously there's a lot of intakes to get through today. The car's happy, it's not spiking or anything, the data's staying the same, the intake temps staying the same, but yeah, we're keeping the fans on, trying to keep it cool. We've got the shutter door open, yeah. Yeah,
it's like Dave's saying, when we're testing these actual intakes, like for example the 3 ones we've just done with the Pipercross, the results have been really, really similar, like within a couple of horsepower of each other, but obviously as we're going to the next intake, the day's getting hotter. You know, obviously it's getting a bit hotter in here. We're keeping the air flowing as much as we can whenever we're not talking. Yeah, we might just see it creeping up. But again, all the figures will be in the video, so you'll see what we see.
To be fair, I mean 24, it's probably not going to get too much hotter anyway, is it? As the tests continue, obviously
hopefully not.
The benchmark was quite optimum intake temp. But yeah, we're doing our best, and it is a dyno after all. So now we are going to fit the PRL Motorsports one, so excited to see this one. Right, so next up we've got this nice colourful box. It's not Hermes, it's a PRL Motorsports intake. And this one comes in at $552.99. And I put this down as semi-enclosed, so it's neither open or fully enclosed. Which I might be wrong and making things up, but we'll find out.
I'm looking forward to opening this and seeing what that means.
Yes. It's not a manufacturer claim, but PRL do say that they improved airflow by 133%. I'm going to be excited to test it. Would you like to do the honours, Mr. Matt?
Sure.
Yeah, boy. That is, whoever packed that PRL, well done.
Yeah, that's lovely, that.
You've done a great job. The whole, everything is in.
You did well getting that in there.
You actually did, yeah. How'd you get it out, PRL?
I must have
okay.
Let's take this off, eh?
Right, so we've just unboxed it. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, it's quite a thing. It follows something that works quite well for a lot of the Yaris intakes, which is just similar sort of design to the factory one, just bigger, and the entry is certainly a lot bigger than it is on the Civic standard airbox. So we've got this extra duct down here as well for this. Interested to see how that works. We've got this like panel on here so we can install everything nicely and not have to be putting our hands in there.
Do you think I was right with saying semi-enclosed, or
I think you're right. I'd still probably class it as enclosed, really, because it's just got the same sort of factory inlet,
yeah,
hasn't
I think
it?
from like the view I've seen it on the internet, you can see like some of the cone
Yeah,
pointing
yeah.
out. So yeah, and we got stickers. So thank you, PRL. It's all nicely branded as well. So nice silicon PRL branded joiners, PRL. On these, I guess they're like 3D printed.
It might have been on the other ones as well, but we can see there's like a little bracket here because we're going to have to move the MAF for this. So that looks like that's going to make that look nice and factory. So that should be good.
One thing we don't have in the box anyway is instructions.
That's right.
Maybe they're on the internet, maybe we can find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always handy to have a nice set of instructions.
Yeah, even if it's a QR code you can scan and watch a video, it's always nice to do. Like Eventuri do that, don't they?
But yeah, this is $552.99, so we're kind of double from where we started.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see if this does anything.
You can see where the money goes though, can't you, at least?
For sure,
You
yeah.
know.
They've obviously spent more money like developing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this is really interesting.
I think it looks like they're making as much of that space as they can.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how this one performs, so bang it on the car.
Okay, so that's the PRL Motorsports intake fitted. Pretty involved install, to be fair, but does fit really nicely. You have to take the ECU out and a few other bits, but the instructions are really good. We have just fitted the bottom scoop quite loosely, but it is in securely, so it's going to give us everything that it can power-wise. This is the first one that we've replaced sort of the standard hose, which has got a bit of a sort of concertina inside. So we've replaced that on this intake with their own pipe that they've supplied. So they obviously think that makes a difference. So be keen to see what it does. But
yeah, I think you'll probably notice intake temps have dropped because it was a bit more involved fitting it. So
yeah,
it's given the chance for the car to cool down now.
Yeah,
but it actually looks really good under the bonnet as well. Like
yeah, it looks fairly stealthy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you can see the intake, but the airbox itself looks fairly, you know, OEM against the fuse box and things like that.
And I think that's where you can see the money's been spent. So we've obviously jumped up in price now. We're kind of double what we started at. But yeah, a lot of engineering's gone into the box, and like Matt said, the pipes up here. So
yeah,
we're going to shut the bonnet, roll her up and see how she does. We've just finished the PRL Motorsports one. Really good figures. It's important to note that it did take a while to fit, so it did have a while to cool down and stuff. But the intake temp was 21, same as RamAir and the K&N drop-in. It's comparative to that. It made 350 horsepower on the nose, which is an awesome figure. 16 horsepower over stock. It made 329.4 pound-foot, which is £4 more than stock. Yeah, just kind of proving that an enclosed system is worth it. It's a really good price point as well. So yeah, really impressed with the PRL one. Now we're going to fit the Armaspeed intake. Right, next up we have the Armaspeed carbon intake, which is our first carbon intake that we'll be testing. We don't list this on Tegiwa.com, we're going to see how it does today. And it retails at $800 on the Armaspeed website. It's made in Taiwan. Yeah, let's crack it open and see what's inside. I think we first... No claims. I think we discovered Armaspeed about 6 months ago or so. We found them on Instagram and they developed this intake, and we reached out and said, we're doing an intake test. Would you like to be a part of it? So they kindly sent us one over for us to include in the test, which is nice. Wow.
4 stickers.
Wow, we got 4?
4.
Thanks, Armaspeed. Quite a big one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Right, and we've also got an envelope here. What's in here? Oh, that's nicely presented, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
That is good.
yeah, that's nice. So it's like a film sort of wallet, really nicely presented with the installation instructions and another sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Armaspeed. Yeah, colour instructions as well, which is always nice. That's nice. And there's something else in here. Looks like a glasses case.
Oh, that is good.
That is cool.
That is good.
Look at this. It's like a tow hook style.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice little
Thanks,
keyring.
Armaspeed. You've probably won the merch game here.
Yeah, that's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah. Thank you. It's really nice. But yeah, back to the intake. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, carbon's really, really nice. All the weaves are really nice. It looks like, again, it's going to, the heat shield's going to make the most of that space. Got a nice big filter here and a couple of joiners, so I think it's really good, yeah.
Yeah, it does look good. My only thing is, obviously that's gloss, really
Yeah.
nicely finished, and this is like a rough, raw.
Yeah, so they've obviously done the shiny side on, perhaps should have done the shiny side on the other side, although, I don't know, perhaps the shiny side reflects heat better?
Maybe
I don't
there's
know.
a reason for that.
Yeah, maybe there is.
But yeah, that's kind of like a raw finish, and
yeah,
it's fine.
it's just the back side, isn't it?
Just the backside.
The back side
Yeah,
of carbon.
but, I mean, that's nice. That's my only
Yeah.
gripe with it. But yeah, for $800,
Yeah.
price is slowly creeping up now, isn't it?
It is, but that's sort of par for the course, I would expect, for a car of this sort of value.
Yeah, and it's carbon as well.
It is, yeah.
And it is the
It is.
cheapest carbon, so
Yeah.
let's get this on the car and see how it performs.
Right, so that's the Armaspeed intake fitted now. A little bit more on the awkward side than some of the others, like we had trouble getting the filters down, didn't we, Dave? And
Yeah.
but it's in, it's fitted, and it looks quite good. But it's funny that the shiny side, the glossy side of the carbon, is on the wrong side. Like we've got the sort of raw carbon
Yeah.
here.
It's kind of weird that they didn't just do both sides, because I was just saying to Matt, it almost looks like, from a glance, that it's fitted wonky, but it's not, because all the mounting points are where they're supposed to be. With
Yeah.
this is like at a sort of 45-degree angle. But you think, because you can see the carbon, they make it gloss both sides. So maybe when they watch this, that'll be a sort of change that they might make.
Also, if you want to bring the camera in, we can't get this front mount on, but it may be because we've got a prototype radiator fitted. So if that is an issue with the standard radiator fitted, then it's nothing more than a quick cut will solve. So other than that, it's okay. It's all right.
It's okay, but it
Yeah.
doesn't, so far,
Well-
doesn't seem like it's worth the extra money over the,
So far, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it performs.
yeah. Cool. just finished the Armaspeed. Again, really impressive results for an open cone as well. 347.6 horsepower and 349.6 pound-foot of torque. So yeah, really impressive for an open cone. I know we weren't quite happy with the finish, but good results from it, and it sounded pretty good as well. So yeah, well done Armaspeed. Next up, we're on to kind of the premium intake. So we've got the Infinity design Matt's just starting to bring over. This one obviously retails at £1,450 provisionally. Yeah, interested to see because these are like fully enclosed intakes. But yeah, let's fit that and get it back on the dyno.
Right, so the next airbox we're testing is the Infinity design. This is not quite full production, it's like production intent. They've done all the testing, done all the development, happy with the design. There's a few little things they're going to still tweak, but in terms of how it's going to perform, this is how it's going to be. So we've got quite a big jump in price from the last one, haven't we?
Yeah, so provisionally, it's obviously not quite on the market yet, but it's £1,450. We've breached the £1,000 mark and then jumped up like another intake, basically. We're almost triple, actually, from the PRL one. Yeah,
and if you want to spend a bit more, they also do a intake pipe that goes directly to the turbo inlet. That's another, provisionally, $550.
Yeah, we're not actually testing that today. We might have one in the box, not sure.
It's sealed up, we don't know.
Do one as well, don't we? But yeah, this is kind of like, this is an intake out of the box. If you want to spend more, you can spend more. But
that's right.
Do you want to do the honours, Matt?
Yeah, let's get it open.
It's a massive box.
It certainly is.
Out of like...
I've seen some boxes in my time.
Ooh.
We've got a certificate with this one.
This is nice. We've got a pack of stickers. They're like 3D gel.
Yeah. A couple of certificates for your wall.
They're not. What's in those? Let's have a look at those. They're really nicely done. A certificate of authenticity. So that's pretty good if you're selling it second hand or something. That's interesting. I've never ever seen packaging like that.
Yeah, this is it. So again, this is sort of production intent. The box they actually come in might be different. The packaging they come in might be different. But this is something.
Reusable as well, which is what we like.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because in the GR Yaris one, I can't remember which intake it was, but there was a hell of a lot of packaging, plastic used and stuff. We want to save the dolphins.
Decent.
That is nice. It's literally ready to go.
Yeah.
What are you thinking then, Matt?
Yeah, it's a big airbox. It looks like it's pretty much, everything's almost ready to drop straight in. We've just got to swap the MAF over and do the, not sure if that's the blow off into there or what, but from the standard one. But yeah, it's big, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah, so we don't have, in terms of like everything that it's going to come with, it's not fully as it would be. So we have got some installation instructions from them, just loose ones. Obviously there will be some really nice ones when they finally ship out proper full production. If there's any fitment issues, we're not really going to worry about that because they've already said that there might well be, and they're just going to tweak the design a little bit in terms of fitment.
We're just going to open the kit up and have a look at the filter, but I'm just having a look around it, and like these plaques are really nice because it's a bit of exclusivity when you're spending this much money. So it's got your car, the Infinity logo, and the serial number as well. We were right. Inside the packaging, we're obviously not testing it today, but this is the turbo inlet tube. Again, really nice finish of the carbon, another plaque on there with a serial number. That will provisionally set you back another £550 on top of the kit. But we're not testing that, so we'll just put that down here. Even this bracket's nice. It's got the Infinity logo in it. That's an interesting cone.
We have this interesting sort of double cone design on the filter just to save a bit of space. They'll get just good surface area to get that air through. And then we've got this sort of
trumpet
and trombone end. That's going to go from the air filter directly to turbo inlet pipe on the car. So all really nice smooth bends inside that after the filter, so that's really good to see.
Infinity have made a claim as well on their website. They reckon it's going to be an increase of 14 to 20 horsepower and 20 foot-pound of torque, which is the same as what Pipercross said that they'd increase the torque by that much. So yeah, let's see if it lives up to that, but it's a really nice kit, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Just get it on the car and get on the dyno.
Nice to be in orbit.
Right, so we just fitted the Infinity Design intake. It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks great in the bay. It certainly looks like it makes the most of the space. Fitment-wise, going back to what we said when we unboxed it, it is a prototype, so, pre-production, sort of production intent design, so it's almost there. I think they just want to make a few more tweaks. One of them is just going to be down this corner, where we've just, as we've had it in and out, we have scratched it a little bit. They did say we're going to do that, and they're going to fix it already, so that's no big deal. But in terms of everything else, this is super tight to get on, but it's nice and snug once it's on. It does fit. It's just been a bit of a battle for my thumbs to get that on there. So this is the first one that replaces all of the OEM Honda pipe work. So we have the MAF now further down than it would be, because if you remember when we tested the OEM, it is straight after the air filter. What we ideally want for a good MAF reading is a good straight bit before and after. It looks like whatever intake we fit, we can't really get that, no matter what we do when it comes to this packaging problem that we have here. But it's just going to be interesting to see how much of the gain is down to moving the MAF there, if at all. So let's see what it makes.
Okay, so we've just finished dynoing the Infinity Design, and kind of a shock result really. 337.2 horsepower, so it's not the results we were expecting, only 3 horsepower more than standard. However, it has made the most torque, so 354 pound-foot of torque. The thing is, when you're out on the road, how much time are you going to spend at the top of the rev range? Not that much. You're likely to feel the extra torque, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sort of when it comes to like actual real-world fast cars, this is where you spend most of your time. So if you've got a bit more shove down at the bottom, you'll really feel the benefit of that on the road. Also, there's a couple of factors with this intake, isn't there? It's a sort of a not quite production intake, as we keep saying.
Yeah, it kind of is what it is. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's obviously a dyno, and it's all about how it performs in the real world. But
yeah,
you know, you can't argue with the fact that it fits brilliantly. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it obviously sounds good as well.
Yeah, it's a real quality piece of kit for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to take off the Infinity now, and then we're going to pop on the Eventuri. So let's crack on with that. Right, next up is the Eventuri, and we know how good Eventuris are because that's the one that you chose on your GR Yaris, wasn't it?
This one these did the best on the GR Yaris one. It's the one I run in my personal car right up until I sold it a few months ago. So
they're almost a benchmark, I'd say, in terms of intakes. Like BMWs, like synonymous with those, and
any sort of prestige car, you won't go wrong with an Eventuri usually. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting once it's actually on the car. But yeah, let's crack it open.
That's it. They're just a good known quantity, aren't they?
Yeah. This retails at £1,524. It's available at Tegiwa.com.
Any claims on this one?
Any claims? Yes. So Eventuri are claiming 14 horsepower and 15 foot-pound of torque, which is interesting because that's the lowest amount of torque that they're offering. But normally we've seen from these tests that you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Again, not inside, in a separate box that would not fit in today. They also offer the carbon turbo inlet tube. That retails at quite a bit more than the Infinity one, so it's $699.60. So it's a fair chunk on top of this intake.
Which is well over £2,000, isn't it?
Yeah. But then on a £50,000 car.
The price of this thing's creeping up.
Yeah, it was started at 40. So, yeah. I think on the road this car was just shy of 50 grand when we bought it new. I'm going straight in for stickers, Matt, sorry.
Go stick into what matters.
Some nice stickers, thanks to Eventuri. And of course, we've got the lovely 3D Gel V. So no installation instructions in here, but there is a card telling you where to find them.
Yeah. When we did the last one, I mean, I've installed, you know, after the Aris test, we did, you know, we did sell a few more, and I installed them for a few guys just using the instructions on the Eventuri's website, and they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
All good, easy to follow instructions, so no worries there.
Eventuri absolutely smashed the marketing as well because their pictures are absolutely class.
Yeah, yeah, and they do, you know, they obviously do a lot of their own dyno stuff and whatever. And you can just tell that they're car enthusiasts themselves.
Do you even?
What?
On the thing it said even, because the Chori had ripped off, and I was like, do you even?
Yeah,
but you missed it and looked like you were going to
that's good.
hit me. It's just a little joke I was making with my friend, but weren't you interested, were you? It's all unboxed, beautiful carbon.
Yeah.
Really nice. The thing that struck us straight away is this is quite small. All the filters have been different, haven't they?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen a single one that's been the same design. But this is like, noteworthy.
It's tiny, isn't it? I mean,
small, but
a lot of, like I said, I fit a few Eventuris for a few different cars, and that's the smallest filter I've seen so far. They obviously know what they're doing, so it obviously can't impact flow that much, if at all. So yeah, another nice kit to relocate the MAF bracket there to bolt onto this pipe here. So it's similar sort of to the PRL. We've got a big bolt-off panel here, although this does seem bigger than the PRL, and that's something that on the Infinity as well. They were saying that sort of the volume of air that the filter has immediate access to is really important.
Maybe that's why it's got a... I'm not a technical guy at all, but maybe that's why it's smaller, so there's more air in the box for it to draw, potentially. Again, we've got the lovely Eventuri branding here. So again, with the serial number, it's a mark of exclusivity, and even like nice touches on the back, where it's got the bracket to mount it, it's got FL5, etched in there.
That's nice.
So yeah, we'll pop this on the car, and high hopes for this one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's the Eventuri fitted. Just exactly what we've come to expect, really. Fits really, really well. Really, really nicely thought out little bits like this. I think I'm not sure if it's a secondary air or what this solenoid is here, but it integrates really nicely. Everything fits nice and snug. Obviously, we've got that smallest filter so far on test, so we'll see if that makes a difference to the power that the engine makes. So yeah, that's it. Let's test it.
Right, so Eventuri done and dusted, smashed it. 358.9, completely blown everyone out of the water, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
In terms of power, they're not the best torque, but looking at the graph, it's just so smooth. Doesn't really drop off, does it?
No, it just holds really nice straight line all the way to the end, and that must be because this torque is flatter, doesn't drop off as early as some of the others. So, I mean, really, really impressed. It's not even like, you know, with the PRL, we had to take the ECU out and other things like that to get it in fitted properly. This was pretty quick install. There was not a lot of time between this and the Infinity, which was the last one we tested. So it's really
It's
really,
good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic that it made that much power. It's not really had that much time to cool down in here since. So
it's also worth noting as well, just like the Infinity one, you can buy an Eventuri carbon turbo inlet tube as well. That retails at quite a bit more money. It's just a smidge under £700. As we've proved with the intake, pretty good gains to be had, and I'm sure at that price point you're probably going to get a few more ponies by installing that, because you're going to have a smoother surface for longer, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to comment too much about that really, because we don't really know. I'm sure you can read whoever's marketing about replacing that pipe, but to me, that sort of pipe there looks more like it's about dampening noise from the standard airbox, rather than, and that is going to come at the cost of smooth flow. So we're not going to test them today, are we? So
no,
we're
just an optional extra. But yeah,
absolutely,
well done, Eventuri. You kind of proved that you are one of the best in the game still, and you do warrant the money.
And then it's basically just reminds me of the Eventuri that I fitted on my GR Yaris, and one of the effects that I noted was that it did keep pulling for longer. The standard airbox with everything else did seem to tail off a bit towards the end, but just as this graph shows, it's pulling really hard, almost to the limiter, so it's nice to see that's a little feature of Eventuri's really.
Anyway, we're going to test the GruppeM now. That's the most expensive intake on our list. 250 quid more than the Eventuri, £1,757. It's JDM though, so that's cool in my book. And the weave on it is awesome. It's like a 1x1 plain weave. So yeah, let's get that on. It looks the most involved one to fit, so it's probably going to be at least half an hour or so before that's on and ready. But yeah, we'll crack on. So next up is the GruppeM. GruppeM?
GruppeM, yeah.
GruppeM. What are we saying?
Just whatever you like, mate.
I'm going to go GruppeM then. You're going to go with that.
I've always said GruppeM.
By the way, this is the most expensive that we're testing today. £1,757.88. Should be good for that kind of money.
Yeah.
You think?
I think sort of echoing Yaris intake test, GruppeM was the most expensive there, but it fitted like a factory airbox, didn't it? And it was, it still gave us good power. Not quite the peak on the day, but we'll see if that changes on this test.
And interestingly, it's the only Japanese intake that we've got for our Japanese car. So let's crack it open and have a look what's inside. I'll go for it. I'm gone for it. Here we go. Oh no, we've got the
noodles.
Noodles. If you watch the GR Yaris intake video, I think I ate one at one point.
I think you ate several.
They're not very nice. Don't eat them.
No.
So
oh, Dave.
Sorry. My friend
wasn't there. Dave.
He was there for me in the end.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, this is like an adult. What's the thing where you put your hand in the box and get a prize out?
No.
Lucky dip. It's an adult's lucky dip.
Oh, we do have a nice sticker as well.
Oh, thanks, GruppeM. Bit of heat shield, well, not heat shield, heat tape.
Yeah, heat reflective tape.
Not seen that yet, have we?
No. Lots of brackets.
We've just come back from Japan. I should know better that we read from right to left.
Yes.
In Asia. I guess it's all supposed to be together, but there's colour instructions in there. Open them the other way around to what you used to. But that's a good touch.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of red to sort of match the factory sort of cam cover. With these parts here, these look like, these are really nice and smooth. Look like they're going to guide the air in nicely.
The inside as well, I have to say, this is all very smooth, whereas on the others, it was smooth, but it was like almost, this has got like a coating, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. And the weave is like a 1x1 weave. And it's just...
smelly.
It is smelly, but it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really, really good quality. Like
really premium.
That's what you expect. They've been in the game a long time. They were sort of the go-to intake design for the EP3, DC5, and FD2 as well. They do really well on those. They know what they're doing, and it should fit and perform great. So let's get it on.
Yeah, let's see if it's worth the money. fitting this kit for probably 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, when did we start it? Yeah, it's honestly, 40 minutes. We thought this day was in the bag.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to go home early.
The other thing is with this kit, it is the most money, but this requires the most assembly, whereas we reckon that GruppeM could probably do a lot of this.
There's not that many more parts to this than there are for the Eventuri, but the Eventuri, you get it and it's completely assembled.
Kind of a mad one, really.
A bit annoying for a group test, to be fair.
Well, we've just finished the GruppeM intake, haven't we, Matt?
We have. Yeah.
How did that take?
It's taken us best part of an hour, which, in fairness, if you bought this intake and you've given yourself a Saturday morning to install it, it's not that bad.
An hour is nothing, but in comparison to the others,
significantly more than all the others took, and that is because things like, you need to take bits of the bumper off, you needed to use liquid gasket on parts to put it all together. There's probably more parts to this than there are in any of the other kits. However, a lot of the other kits, like the Eventuri, for example, where there is a lot of parts, that comes pre-assembled. We'll give a little tour of this intake, there's quite a lot to it. If we look down into the grille, we can see a sort of tongue, and that is the start of the scoop. It goes up here and into here, and that's the main sort of way into the airbox. We also have this in true sort of GruppeM style. There's a second entry into the airbox. We saw that on the Yaris too, and that's just making sure there's as much access to fresh cold air as possible. Got a little filter down here. The MAF is just out of sight underneath, and then we retain these this standard Honda pipe work there. So without further ado,
it's an intricate kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the red matches this quite nicely. Actually, it's a bit orangey, but it's okay. It's not offensive.
No, it's all right.
But they've obviously spent a lot of time packing all the intricate detail into quite a small space.
And I can't imagine how difficult it is to make all these pieces and make them fit.
Yeah, not fouling anything.
But it does fit together really nice. I mean, it's quite tight just because it's a new car. It's quite tight getting the bits into where they need to be for some of them. But yeah, really good.
Let's see what it makes. Right, so we just finished GruppeM. It smashed it, basically.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, we saw 364 horsepower.
Yeah, so that was run one, straight to 364 horsepower after a little bit of warming up on the rollers. However, we are a little bit concerned that that's because it took so long to fit that it's cooled down quite a bit. The engine bay is noticeably cooler when we've finished fitting it. So we just couldn't replicate that. We ran the rest of the runs around here, which was 349.9, which I think is probably a bit more realistic, and that's probably a bit more true to how the others were tested in terms of the temperatures in the dyno, the actual intake air temp as well. So I think that's probably a fair representation, but this is one of the disadvantages of doing it where we're doing it. We are sort of subject to that.
If time wasn't a constraint, then we could let the car cool down.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of hours and really let it really be like you've not even switched it on and then do it. But it's simply not the case.
That's right. And there's all sorts of other things. Like we can talk about this in the wrap-up at the end, but there's like short-term fuel trims, whatever else that the car just won't have had time to do between changing the airbox. So, but it's a good indication of how good they are. But I am glad to see such a massive gain, even at 350 horsepower. That's a really good gain for how long it took to fit and how much it costs.
Yeah.
Because it is a great looking intake. It fits really well. I wouldn't be disappointed if I bought it.
No, and it shows that it can make 364 horsepower.
Yeah.
Some of the others may have had room for improvement. It's just that under the conditions that we're testing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone that's had a turbo car or even a non-turbo car, really, but if you take it out on a cold morning, the difference is really noticeable. It has to be probably about this sort of difference before you'd notice it, yourself. So
yeah. And again, don't worry. It is just a dyno. It is just a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what you're in it for. Whether you're in it for noise, aesthetics, performance.
Yeah.
We can only show you what we're finding out ourselves.
Yeah.
There's no way of us making more power, less power for any.
No.
We're not biased at all.
No, we don't mind which one you buy.
No,
as long as you buy one.
Yeah, and this is our car at the end of the day as well, so it's a bit of fact finding for us.
Yeah.
But Matt's got to shoot off now. We thank Matt for his time that he spent with us over today. It's been quite a long day, hasn't it?
Certainly.
So yeah, we'll shoot the outro another day. We'll take another look at the data once we've had a bit of a rest and stuff. Yeah, do a bit of analysis, wrap the video up.
And guys, it's day 2 of the intake test, although I am still wearing the same clothes, so is Dave, just for continuity, but it is another day. After we'd gone through everything, Infinity Design were nice enough to send us one of their pre-production units. They asked us to give them a bit of feedback, so we did. We let them know how it got on, and they were pretty sure something wasn't right, so we sent it back to them, and one of the things they found, or probably one of the key things they found, is that the MAF hole was not quite the right size, and it was letting in a bit too much air.
Yeah, so the O-ring that seals the mat wasn't the right size, so there was like a leak. It wasn't. Yeah. It was skewing the MAF figures, wasn't it?
So the MAF is mass airflow sensor. It is super important that gets an accurate reading, because that's where you get all your air-fuel ratios, everything like that from. And if you get it wrong, it can be curtains for your engine. So they've given us the sensors it back. We've fitted it. We've retested it.
Also got the correct joiner as well this time.
Yes. That's right.
They didn't quite have that.
The same. It was the right size, but they had to give us a 3D printed part just because it was so early in production. They hadn't got the right bits through.
We noticed last time as well the holes on top of the intake, but this is actually for the OEM rubber trim, and that didn't get fitted last time. I don't think it would make a massive difference, but
it didn't get fitted to a lot of the airboxes, to be honest, because again we didn't really think it would make a big difference. As I said at the start, we were literally hot swapping these, getting one on, doing 3 runs and swapping them out, so the intakes were probably on for less than 20-30 minutes.
I think it did end up it went on the GruppeM and it went on the...
We did, mainly because we
Eventuri,
spent about 2 hours putting that thing together. So we popped that on as well, just to be sure, and we compared it against the best running intake from
day one. Yeah,
day one.
That was the GruppeM, and it made 364 horsepower on day one, so... Yeah,
that was that high run that we thought it's cooled down a lot in the 3 to 4 working days it took to fit that airbox. But on all seriousness, it was a while, so it took a little. It obviously cooled down. Everything had cooled down, and we ran it again. It ran 349, 349, something like that. We ran it up again today.
So have a look at the dyno.
Yeah, let's have a look at the graph.
Show the people what it made.
Okay, so we can have a look at the graph here from the GruppeM. That was the best sort of consistent power intake from day 1 of our test. That was a week ago now, so. We've run it again. It's a little bit of a cooler day. Obviously, we haven't had so much, going back and forth on the dyno. So, it's made a little bit more power. It's made 354, just under 355 horsepower there, 341.5 pounds-feet of torque. And then what we'll do now is we'll swap over to the Infinity Design graph. Right. So. That is the graph for the Infinity Design from today with actual production intent MAF housing. So yeah, we haven't made much more than the GruppeM there. We've made 356.5, 347.5 pound of torque. However, peak power, like we've said a few times during this test, it doesn't tell the whole story at all. It's how fast you are.
Because it's making peak power right up here. So
that's right.
As you're hitting the red line, you're not always going to be sending it to the red line anyway, are you?
How much time do you actually spend there? So what we can do is we can overlay this against the GruppeM. We can see here the difference here. So this thinner line here is the GruppeM, the thicker line is the Infinity Design, and what we can see is just a load more torque. So if we go from here, some sort of 3,000 RPM all the way up to sort of 6,500 RPM, we've got more torque. And if I just turn the cursor on, we can see what that translates to in real world power. So if we move this bar sort of over here, sort of 4,500 RPM-ish, something like that, just something arbitrary, something that, you know, somewhere where you would spend more time than at the red line. You can see that what we've actually got is another 9 horsepower almost, but, you know, 8.5 horsepower there. Oh, sorry, it's over 9 horsepower, about 9.5 horsepower. It's a big difference, and you will feel that on the road for sure. And the reason for it, as I say there, we've got another 11 pounds-feet of torque, and, you know, with Hondas, torque, you know, if you get some more torque, yeah, you're onto a winner for sure, because it's not what they specialise at. For sure.
The guys at Infinity said that the torque comes from, because their kit, and it's got the biggest like mouth, it's got the like widest scoop, so it's got the most air volume, which is quite interesting, something that I didn't know much about, but obviously
it's always nice when the guys that make these airboxes come in, or we talk to them over email. You know, we did that bit with ITG with the Yaris as well. It's nice to talk to them and just find out a bit more about what goes into the design, because it, you know, although it is a great looking intake, and a lot of the intakes we've got, you know, especially the carbon ones that we have are all fantastic looking. So much more goes into them, just making them look cool. A lot of thought and a lot of CFD design goes into them.
Yeah, I think making them look nice and the finish is kind of the real final step, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just making sure they work, and, you know, when they're charging this much for an intake, they've got to produce some power. So yeah, it's really good to see the fixtures that they've made have solved the issues that we ran into the other day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Infinity, for being involved with the test and, you know, giving us a quick turnaround as well, because, you know, we want to give everyone a fair shot at it. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a young design. They rushed it out to us when we told them that we were doing this test. So yeah, thanks very much.
This is the conclusion to the video. If you're still watching, thank you for making it this far. Obviously, it's not as tidy as we would have liked over the 2 days, but there was a lot, wasn't there, for day one?
There was a lot to go through. You know, we had that feedback to Infinity, and we went back and retested that for them after they sent it back to us. So
it's been exciting though.
But we've got quite a lot of data to go through, and it'll obviously all be on the website. Dave will write all that out.
Yeah, you can check this out on the blog if you do prefer a bit more in depth. And we can show you the graphs. And insert here. We'll have a comparison graph of everything we did find. But yeah, I think there's someone for everything here. No intake did like terribly.
No, I think the only one that ran a little bit less power was probably the K&N.
Yeah,
but the problem is, like we say,
it was almost like it did 6 runs, because you test the OEM one, the OEM box, you do 3 runs, and that's so simple to install that it takes like 5 minutes to switch it out. So the car's then back on. Yeah, so
it didn't have the best conditions. When, you know, if you wouldn't say it was very fair, certainly compared to GruppeM, Eventuri, PRL. They're more complex installations, and they do take a bit more time. So
the car had more time to cool down.
That's it. That's all. While that's going on, the car is cooling down constantly. So, you know, there is a bit of context to these results. And what's another thing that we need to talk about is not just peak power as well.
It's obviously all well and good. That's kind of what we reported throughout, is this kit made X amount of power.
Yeah.
Because that's all we can look at really when we're testing one kit. But when we actually start delving into the graphs and overlaying them, as we just explained with Infinity and GruppeM, there's a 10 horsepower difference pretty much in the mid-range to the peak power, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. And you can fit all these peak power mods to your car and wonder why your mate's car is faster with a different setup that doesn't. And the answer is he's probably got more area under the graph, as we call it, and that is literally more power lower down. And so overall, it is a faster car. And I think that's what you see with Infinity. You also see it with the Eventuri over a lot of the other intakes as well. That really nice flat graph, which means it's got really nice high torque and just carries that torque all the way to the red line.
For me, the PRL really impressed me, because at this price point, obviously we've not tested it day 2, we've not had time, it was just a back-to-back between those two, but it did make 350 brake day 1.
Yeah.
And for a kit that's 550 quid, it's really well made. Yeah, that's like a really good.
It fits nicely. I like their little snorkel design. They just take a little bit longer to fit, but some of the other kits that we have, but it's a nice idea, and it's also interesting. You know, that leads us on to the extra intakes you get with the GruppeM. You know, they're just scooping air from anywhere they can. It's interesting to see the different approaches that different manufacturers have had to get as much air, fresh, cold air, into the airbox as they can.
And I think a lot of it may come down to price as well. Like, obviously the GruppeM did amazing day 1, but it is £1,757. So, you know, it's a lot for an intake.
It's fantastically made. It fits really nicely. You can see where the money's gone. It's, you know, there's lots of bits to it, and they all, you know, they all look like they have a function for sure. So
they've all got their time and place, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not everybody's got, you know, 4 figures to, you know, well into 4 figures to spend on an intake, and there are some fantastic options lower down, weren't there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if 325 quid, you can get yourself the Pipercross, get yourself the RamAir, 50 quid change, and that's going to sound, you know, if it's sound that you're going for, you just want a bit more induction noise, you're going to get that, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
With one of those. But
yeah, they will sound fantastic. You know, you'll hear the spoolie noises, the blow off, or the recirc valve noises that you'll get with these. So, yeah, you will certainly benefit.
Yeah, thank you to the viewers for watching. You guys at home, because without you watching these videos, we wouldn't be able to make them and bring you the test that we do. Thank you to Matt for coming down and giving his time up again, helping us fit the intakes and giving us a bit more of a technical insight than what I can give you. So any intakes that you have seen today, check them out on Tegiwa.com, all available on there. Again, any other FL5 parts, check them all out. We've got a great range. So if there's any other tests that you'd like to see, it doesn't have to be on the FL5. Let us know in the comments if there's enough interest, and we'll try and look at putting something together. I know we've got an FN2 intake test lined up potentially soon, maybe some back-to-back tyre tests as well. We know they're really popular. Just let us know and try and make it happen.
Yeah, we're lucky that, you know, throughout customer car park, staff car park, we've got access to some really nice cars, so we can always find something.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you to Matt again. We'll let you draw your own conclusions from our test. Take it with a pinch of salt. You know, it is a dyno. Figures do change. Like, it's a turbocharged car as well, and we know these are quite sensitive, really, with temperatures and stuff.
You know, any intake test is really sensitive to heat. So
peace out, I guess.
Peace out.
Bye, viewers.
We're tired, aren't we?